Get my water.
Because after a while, your mouth does get dry.
Mm-hmm. I got 2
This
drinks.
is,
Got 1 water and 1 Minute Maid. I don't think I should be drinking that much of, but oh well.
yes, sir. As always, I got to check my social medias to make sure I am live and good to go. Let some people get up in this joint. All 2 of y'all get in here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All 2 of them. Let me edit my privacy on Facebook. Make sure it's public. Share this live. Let me go with the share live. Get my tickers ticking. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all see an extra face. You're like, oh my God, there's a person, there's another human here. I got my brother from another mother, and while we added a different daddy, you know what I'm saying? Cam was good, my guy.
Nothing, my G. Just chilling. Happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me, man.
Yeah, I figured, when we talk football at the house, you actually know what you're talking about. So
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I can't stand when people don't know what they're talking about. It drives me nuts. Chuckley, that's my Chuck. Yes, my man Chuck. I grew up with Chuck back home.
What's up, Chuck?
Yeah, Chuck's up there. He's an Eagles fan though, so we ain't gonna hold it against him.
Man, if this was probably like that whole spill with that Chip Kelly spill, I'd probably been had like, oh, it's a bad time. But now they got a minimum decent coaching staff, and players. So now it's a good time to be a Phillies fan.
Absolutely, and that offensive line is crazy. And they got the cheat code play, the tush push.
Yeah.
So they don't. You can't stop that thing right now.
Yeah, they had to read a rule back from like 2005 that said that this play is legal.
It's legal. It's legal. Go Birds. Yeah, whatever, Chuck. We're gonna talk about it. But until then, we're gonna start this countdown, and then we're gonna get it popping.
Shooting at snakes, losing our stash, open numbers when dice break. First pack was some cooked up shit. Off the A+, discuss guns, busting their weights. Snakes trusting lots of hate, put the world at stake. Teenage lust, unbelievably in the black and night. To lose my description.
Y'all get lost in that. What is up, professional fans? Because we are professional fans. We get paid to be fans. We don't. But we're going to pretend like we do for at least the next hour. And if you were wise, you would listen to us, because there's people hitting me in my messages. They ain't no cap, because they will be on this app. They are making a couple dollars off these picks. Last week was a trash week. I went 11-6, but still, that's 11-6. I don't know too many people was going 11-6 with that week, especially with the way the Cowboys looked. Especially the way the Cowboys looked. Here's the thing. That was actually one of my wins, because I chose the points. They had the Cowboys winning by 9.5, I believe it was. Mm-hmm. And I knew the Cowboys weren't going to win by 9.5 points, because the Cardinals didn't lose by 9.5 points all year yet. They've actually been playing a lot harder than people have realized, and they're giving them credit for. Right. So I just didn't see the Cowboys winning, but I thought they were going to win against the Cardinals. And as an NFC West guy, I'm like, come on, I need that help. Like, what are y'all doing to me?
I mean, remember, they're trying to tank for Caleb Williams. That's the whole idea. At least that's for the front office. Those players still got something else to say.
Yeah. I mean, tank for Caleb. I think that's the thing now because nobody allows anyone to score 70 points on them. However, here is my theory, and I'm one of like the few. There's like a couple other people that think this way, but I'm one of the few. I don't think Sean Payton's that great of a coach, and here's why.
Really?
Yes, here's why. Outside of Drew Brees, what has Sean Payton done?
Okay. Well, I can't say he got Jameis Winston to look competent, to look more.
The 5 games he won.
Yeah, I can say that, and he actually had some success when Drew Brees was out, and Teddy Bridgewater had to sub in for I think 4 or 5 games.
Yeah.
So I mean, he has the knowledge, but I don't think that right now he has the complete supporting cast around him to try to be successful with the Broncos. Yeah, they throw a lot of money around because they got the Walmart people that's up there in the suite watching over, but that defense on every aspect has taken not one but several steps back. And I
literally
like
each score has been doubled the last one.
Yeah.
And the defense has been their key. And this is why I say this. Now, when I say that, people think think he's a great coordinator. That's the thing. He's
great
a great
offensive mind, yeah.
He's a great offensive mind. There's a difference between coordinating plays and coaching a whole team. There's a whole aspect behind that. And outside of, because even the years that he was coaching, he has had bad defenses. Bad defenses. That's just the nature of his beast. And then when he leaves, the defensive coordinator, who was his defensive coordinator that filled in, right? Dennis Allen. Remember those games that he got suspended? With the Saints defense looked hell of a lot better. Those games he was suspended. And the Saints defense currently looks
a lot better.
Hell of a lot better than anything Sean Payton has ever put at a product.
But do you think that's also a fact on their defensive coordinator? Because I'm not sure if Vance Joseph is that guy.
Vance Joseph is trash.
He's not
coming from. I'm a 49ers guy. Vance Joseph is hot butter garbage. He was only serviceable as a CB. Once again, he's not even a coordinator. He's a position coach. Right. He's a good CB position coach. Some people just don't need to elevate past their positions.
Right.
Some people hit their ceiling. That just like Chris Kocurek, the defensive line coach for the 49ers, he said he doesn't want to do anything but be a defensive line coach. He is noted to be the best defensive line coach in the league. Everybody around the league loves 49ers Chris Kocurek. He brings everybody over there, and they look like beasts on the other side of Bosa. And then they go somewhere else, and they get big contracts, and they don't do as well.
So like,
what's position coach?
I don't know where Sean. I don't see them actually getting better next year. I still think that they're going to still be as mediocre within their own division. Like the Chargers are going to be better. We all know the Chiefs and Mahomes is going to be way better than them. The only argument is probably the Raiders, and that's because they have an equally questionable coach in Josh McDaniels. Like are you're fighting who's going to be fourth in that division and who's going to get better picks, better pull in free agency? That's the only thing that they're really fighting for.
This is why we think coaches are better than what they are. These guys are getting drafted one of 200 in the world of talent, right? And they're just putting product on the field, and it's kind of what's that term when they go to war? You just war of attrition. Yeah, that is basically war of attrition. How these coaches fight. All right, I'm gonna just put my biggest guys up against your biggest guys, and we just gonna until whoever falls first. Ground and pound, right? That's good old American football. Good ground and pound, right? That's what it is war of attrition. So these coaches are luckier than they actually are. I've been around some of these. I'm not saying I was around NFL coaches. Don't make it seem like I'm some hot whatever. I've been around college coaches. I've been around high school coaches. I've been around little league coaches. I've been around coaches that probably are coaching positions in the NFL that I used to be around in the high school. And what people have the tendency, and it's the same rule of thumb, and I shared this to one of my social media platforms before. Mike McDaniel said it. He said, if y'all keep doing the same thing, you're giving the defense an upper hand. He said the key to innovation is do things. That's why Mike McDaniels is putting up 70 points in that offense, because you got to change it up. Down here doing the same. I changed it up, and coaches were constantly questioning, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? I'm like, because y'all did that in the 90s. Like, nobody's running wing T offense and power eyes and things like that. Like, these kids are a little bit more athletic now. It's almost like playing Madden, and things
but
like that.
There is something to say about how, like, bringing something old back that was innovative at a time, bringing it back could work. And you can look at, even though I don't like him as an offensive coordinator, you can look at the Ravens with Greg Roman. He brought back the option play, even though he had a wildly athletic quarterback who can run pretty much around like almost every running back, receiver, and DB that was on the field. So he had an advantage. But bringing back those old tactics, but bringing them back in a new way can be actually beneficial for you. But you can, but back to what you said before, is like saying, like, doing something the same, they're going to eventually figure it out. When you brought up Mike McDaniel, you could put Sean McVay in that category too. Like, he was running that zone motion split offense, and he ran that for 2 years and he had success. The third year, people started to figure that out, and he had to change it up a little bit.
That's what happened with Greg Roman all the time, everywhere he goes. By the second or third year, his offenses get stale and predictable, and that's what these coaches fail to realize. You got to keep innovating. These people get paid millions of dollars to study your offense, like every nuance, regardless of your smoke and mirrors with your motions. You're still throwing sail concept. There's only 13 routes to run. You know what I mean? So as a CB, I know what these routes are. I know what your receiver does when he wants to jab. I'm studying all these things because it's not so much about everything else. It's these telltale signs that these guys do. So back to coaching. So these coaches get lucky with this war of attrition. And then when they don't have these big, powerful gauntlet guys, they fail. But then you see people like a Mike McDaniels or even a Mike Tomlinson or someone like that who are doing well with very little. I don't think Kyle Shanahan is my coach, and I talk about him all the time. I don't think he's a great offensive coordinator. I think he's probably the best offensive mind in the league as a coordinator. But I don't like him as a coach because he doesn't adjust well. And what else do you need? You got all pros in every position: left tackle, running back, wide receiver, defensive end, linebacker, safety. You got 7 all pros on your team, and you getting bounced in divisional rounds because, I need a quarterback. Why? Because it's war of attrition.
And you got a bunch of positionless players too that can go anywhere. You have a wide receiver who could play running back, vice versa, or a running back who could play wide receiver. You got a fullback who can play tight end, and you got a tight end who can be split out wide. I don't understand of how not only innovative coaching, like just an offensive mind, how can you not be more successful? And I get it goes back to the quarterback, but as it's also coming from the coach who wanted to get Kirk Cousins, which
Kirk Cousins, like come on, and the reason that was the reason he didn't scout Patrick Mahomes that year, 2017, because he wanted Kirk Cousins. He offered them the second pick, and so instead of grabbing a real quarterback, they picked Solomon Thomas. Solomon Thomas is now on the Jets, being a backup somewhere. Like he's mediocre at best. So whatever. Good stuff. But I don't think Sean Payton's that good. I think without Drew Brees, yes. And the 5 games that Jameis Winston looked good, that Drew Brees went out. Because that's the only time Sean Payton has a winning season outside of Drew Brees was the 5 games that Jameis Winston won those games. This is where context matters because the defenses he played were the Chicago Bears, So on and so forth. All 5 teams. The Cowboys were 8-9 that year.
And I think he played Miami when Miami had a trash defense, if I remember right. I could be wrong.
Yeah. All 5 defenses were horrible.
Mm-hmm.
They were trash that year. So context matters because Jameis Winston is who he thought he was. Now, people are going to be schemed wide open in Sean Payton's scheme, just like Kyle Shanahan's scheme. People are going to be schemed wide open. That's a great coordinator. But what are you going to do when nobody can get open because they figured your scheme out? And that's where they fall.
But that goes into something I heard. I think it was Michael Irvin said that. There's a difference between you having a good scheme and like scheming people open, but also being able to have those good players who just know how to get open. Because sometimes your scheme is going to fail, and you're going to have a person going to be draped all over you, or you're going to be bracketed, double covers, this, that, and the third. Do you have the players that are in place that can just be open at any time? And he had one, but he was only good at doing zigs, slants, short ends, and everything like that. And outside of that, he had nobody. Well, you could say he had Alvin Kamara, but again, Alvin Kamara is your running back, and we all know how. Even though running backs are good and they're great within certain offense, we know how running backs are valued within the league. So we also have to put that into account too. So that context does matter.
I'm glad you said that.
I fully agree with you. He's a good coordinator, not good on just I'm not sure if that even is him. That's a more of a front office thing. But you gotta, if you're Sean Payton and you had the success that you had in New Orleans, you push for better players.
Yeah,
you can get a bunch of wide receivers through free agency. There was a time that you had the one that he didn't want to. He put more money into the defense, and all those defensive skilled players failed. When he had like the 3rd most cap space in the league at one point, and he didn't do really much in it that actually helped the team overall. So yeah, I do agree with you. He's an okay coach, but for when it comes to the Broncos, we got to see what they're actually going to do, because I think this year,
it's still early.
This year, you think it's early? I think it's done. I don't know if they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna get back from this.
I'm pessimistic, to be honest with you. I think he's hot butter garbage because I just don't see it, and because he reminds kind of like Kyle Shanahan. So it's like, Brock Purdy is great. No, he's not great. He's very good because he's
serviceable with what you have.
And why he's very good is because he runs Kyle Shanahan's system well. Because once again, Kyle Shanahan's scheming open. And then you mentioned something that was a great point. Christian McCaffrey is that person, is the X factor, that positionless player that's always open now. Because here's the thing. Brock Purdy ain't going to throw that 60-yard bomb, but, I can check it down to Christian out of the wheel route. Brandon Ayuk is one of the best one-on-one receivers out here. People just didn't know it because he didn't have nobody to throw him the ball.
Right.
Deebo Samuel's not that great one-on-one. Deebo Samuel's is just a truck. That's why if he doesn't get his little screens behind the line of scrimmage or his little slants over the middle, Yak Bros, that was his knock against him in college. He's like Anquan Bolden. He's just, he's just a beast. Yeah, I agree with that, Chuck. Because everybody else in that division is hot butter garbage. Yeah. Because Brandon Staley shouldn't have a job. That Chargers team is being wasted. That Chargers team should be competing with. Now they're not going to beat the Chiefs, but they should be competing.
No, they're not. But they might finish second in that division, and they might. I don't. Some other follies in the other AFC divisions, they could sneak in as a 7th seed and make the playoffs. But that's a lot more than what I almost called them Oakland, Las Vegas, and Denver are going to do this year.
Oh yeah, no, they're going to be horrible. Now, with that said, I know these mud suckers. Y'all ready for y'all picks? I know y'all ready for your picks. I know you ready for your picks. We want to bring it to the stage. So we're going to go in order. We got a little box set of 4. So for the first game, which is tomorrow, that's why I do it Wednesday nights, because there's a Thursday night game. People go out on Friday nights. Ain't nobody trying to hear me on Thursday night during the game. Saturday, people are lit. Sunday is the game. So Wednesday is the best time. Ain't nobody doing that on Wednesdays. If you ain't here, you a hater. On Neighborhood Compton Pyru Blood Crips, you a hater if you ain't right here listening right now. You know what I'm saying? But First up, we got the Lions versus the Packers in Green Bay Thursday night. Both teams on short rest. Packers are giving the Lions a 1.5 over under at 46. What do you think you rocking with on that one? What's your thoughts?
Well, one, I like I was about to say Jared. I do like Jared Goff, but Jordan Love, he's actually sneaky good with the receivers that they had in Green Bay. That everybody was just like, oh, they're a bunch of no names, and they are. I couldn't name two of those receivers at the beginning of the year, especially with how all the focus was put on Aaron Rodgers and saying like, oh, what is he going to do with all these no names? He only had Alan Lazard, and everybody else was just like not on the same page or not worth throwing to. If you work with anybody, then they can be good or at least serviceable, but you have to at least put in the time on that. About the Lions, I mess with Dan
questionable.
Campbell.
He's questionable, Chuck. He is questionable.
Yeah,
because that is important. Those are important things to when you're picking your points. So I'm personally, so they actually changed this, and that's why another reason why I tell people to lock these in when they lock them in, because certain things happen. When I started this, they were giving the Packers only 1 point. Now it's at 1.5. So that means Christian Watson is more than likely not playing. That's my take on it. That's why I think they moved it to more points to the Packers, because Christian Watson probably isn't coming back. However, I'm gonna have to edit this because I still like the Packers at 1.5, and I'm taking the over because I don't like either of their defenses. I think the Packers are going to outright win at home versus the Lions. They just own Little Bro. They own Little Bro. I don't care how about Little Bro coming into Wisconsin. They just own them. That's and over 46 because I believe both of their defenses are trash. What are your thoughts?
Honestly, I got the Packers winning at home too, but I don't think it's going to be those dominant, Packer Detroit games that we've kind of seen in the past. Even though like both of the decent defenses are kind of suspect and there are a lot of injuries, especially Jair Alexander is still going to be questionable for this game. If he's out, he's going to have a field day with the points. But still, I think that when you add now Matt LaFleur, who is actually going to a quarterback and saying, look, this is now the system. I'm still giving you free reign, but if you still work within this, we can actually get a dub out of this. I got to go with the Packers too. And I also I'm gonna go with you too. I'm gonna take the over. I don't see any of this being like any type of defensive game. I can see both of them, getting into 30s or at least sub 30s when it comes to their total points.
Yeah, at least one of them. What I mean? Like a 31-27, 28-24, even 28-24 is still over 46 points. I just always split it in half and think, okay, 23-23. Yeah, I think they'll both score over 3 touchdowns because they're both aggressive. They both put up some points, and I just don't. Yeah, Packers. Okay, we all know what that. We agreed on that one. Next one we're gonna go with because it's over in London, bro. So it's a 9:30
Atlanta
game.
Falcons and the Wembley Jaguars.
The Wembley. I'm glad you said that because Jaguars low key have been doing this for the last 3 years since COVID. Been going over to Wembley, and I think what's his name, Khan wants to go over there because that is going to be a lot of money because they pack those stadiums out. They're
doing it 2 weeks in a row, right? They're doing it this game and the next game.
I believe so. So. I'm gonna have to double check that one, but yeah, it's. I think they're trying it. I know the NFL wants to get a team over there or two, because they know that market's going to be crazy, and then they're going to have. That's why 49ers have one of the few Mexican players, so they have an international player that doesn't count against the Alfredo Gutierrez. It doesn't count against your roster, whatever. So they're trying to get international with it, and I like it. Developing these guys and showing how the difference between actual American football and rugby. You going Jags at home, bruv? Okay, Jags at home.
Their new home.
Okay, I see you, Chuck Lee. What's your Packer pick, Chuck? But yeah, I think the Falcons. I think the Jaguars are definitely shooting to be over there or be one of the first franchises to go overseas, or at least he may want to invest in something like that or something. I know something's happening because the Jaguars are always over there.
Yeah,
Always.
I don't know if they have like the full blown out support of the fan base in Jacksonville, especially when it comes to like ticket sales throughout the year. They might as well just start bringing like a third of their games overseas. They can probably do two in London and probably do a third in Mexico and
do all your winter ones. Yeah, all your winter ones in Jacksonville when it's warm. Do all your summer ones in like now over in England when it's warm. So it's always warm. You say you like the Lions in the under. Okay, I see you, Chuck. That's why you broke, son. You betting all these things against me, dude. Like if you take all this is your problem, Chuck. Oh, sorry. That's back on the. What I asked you?
I gotta see that. Let me see the injury reports for this game.
Ain't nothing crazy.
Yeah, I mean, for Atlanta, Troy Anderson, Cordero Patterson, and Josh Ali. I mean, okay. I mean, Cordero Patterson is probably, if he still does the same things he does last year, it's probably going to be their best player that's going to be out. But Robinson's kind of stepped into the RB1 role, and he's a beast perfectly.
He's a beast.
But other than that,
Thursdays do suck, Chuck.
Yeah.
You right about that. That's a piece for the under. I see why you're saying under, Chuck, because that's a Thursday game. I feel you on that. But sometimes it can be vice versa too. Where people just be so tired and defenses just kind of don't want to hit nobody.
They still haven't, especially they're not coming off that bye week. This is that whole. I'm not even going to get to the whole redoing the schedule, so they have more time in between Thursday night games. That's a whole other thing, but that's a NFL wanting their money and make sure they get it now.
Yep. Well, I'm going to go. This one stayed the same, and I'm staying the same because I people keep back. So you've been missing this because you ain't my friend on Facebook.
I don't have Facebook.
I know, but you still ain't my friend on there. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is that good. And people were like, oh, give him time. I'm like, Trevor Lawrence I don't see it. He is good, whereas he's athletic. He has a great arm. He can make all the throws. He can make them. That doesn't mean he does. He still reverts back to bad habits too often. This and duck and just flings it. He's in Clemson. He was a one-read quarterback. Doug Peterson makes his offense quarterback friendly. That's why he won the Super Bowl with Nick Foles. That's why he made Carson Wentz look good. He's a quarterback. He used to be a quarterback, so he knows how to make quarterbacks look good. And the fact that Trevor Lawrence still isn't getting it, he's just not getting it to me. I don't see it. He's pushing points, Jags money line. Okay, I see you, Chuck.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but like when it comes to like we go back to context. When you go back to college, the offense is very, very simple at Clemson, but that's a lot of the successful offenses in college. And you don't really see a lot of successful pro, put it in quotes, pro style offenses that are existing in college as of right now, especially with the big time, the big time programs. And then your first year, you have Urban Meyer, which that was his own dumpster fire. His own dumpster fire.
I laughed so hard when they hired him. I'm like, what do y'all think is going to happen?
I was like, I know he has that notoriety, he has that cachet in North Florida, but are you for real? And then the first move that he got the skills position coach that had all the
racist and
the sexual misconduct problems. He brings in, and then you bring in Tim Tebow.
Yeah,
you bring in Tim Tebow, bro,
as a tight end.
You're you know that you shouldn't be coaching professionals. You need to stay in college if you're going to do all that. Stay in college.
Yeah, that was horrible. That was, and I don't know what people, they were like, yeah, he's gonna, because Trevor Lawrence, he's gonna run that Clemson system and all that. Man, this ain't college.
Yeah, it's not. You can't
and
do
he's
those
better
type
off
of
in
play
college.
calls there.
Yeah, that's why Jim Harbaugh does better in college, because kids, they are young-minded males who can only win by manipulating young men into thinking things and then having a war of attrition and
yeah. The limitations that the NFL pro sports, like, I don't know how many players that you can get. Makes Jimmy G look like matching the win. Yeah. I don't know how many players are on like a college, like a big time college roster. Probably like 90 at minimum. Yeah. You can get somewhere that's in the hundreds, 110 maybe. Like now you go to 53 and you try to run the same concept when your thing is relying on subbing people in and out and kind of like going at a fast pace. That doesn't work in pros. A lot of times you have to be slow and methodical and have to have a process down to the minute detail and have to be able to think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plays or even 1, 2, 3 series ahead, depending on what the team is going to do. Urban Meyer doesn't think like that. No, we all knew he doesn't think like that. But even if he doesn't, one thing that he should have done, being an adult and saying like this, I'm new. You guys, especially on the staff, have done this before. How do I be successful because I can be a head coach or an offensive coordinator or an offensive mind or whatever he actually does. I'm still not sure about it. But how to be a professional. Okay. He's okay. He's all right. He had really good recruiting and they just ran all over everybody with the amount of skill players that he has. But being a professional.
These coaches are, what it is nepotism in the good old boys club.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. It's just, it's not the best qualified. It's not, because if that was the case, some of these coaches wouldn't be getting these gigs. It's like, how you go 3-13 and all this other stuff and get another job. Imagine if I worked at McDonald's and every time somebody ordered a burger, I kept giving them chicken.
Yeah.
And then Burger King picked me up, was like, yeah, matter of fact, he's making $15. We're going to pay you $25 an hour because we believe in you. Even though you was giving out the wrong burger, we know you got potential to give out the correct burger. Yep. No, he was horrible there. He's going to be horrible here. Same thing with what's happening with the Panthers. With Frank Reich, he was horrible in the Colts. Which makes you think he's gonna do with a worse team than he had in the Colts. He had a playoff team.
He had Carson Wentz. Well, that was also his fault. He wanted to bring him in. He did all right with Phillip Rivers though, so I can say that. But Phillip Rivers is already a good quarterback.
Frank Reich is a product of Doug Peterson being an offensive coordinator for Doug Peterson.
That's 100% true. I can't argue with that. Even though
it's like anybody under Andy Reid. It's like anybody under Andy Reid, except for Eric Bieniemy, he might be okay. He might be all right because they actually have a solid.
Get himself another quarterback, but we're going to talk about that later on.
Yeah.
But back to the Jags, I want to say something that you said about Trevor Lawrence. Like I want to go back to that.
Yeah.
You survive if you don't have like consistent coaching, like good coaches. Like we know Dabo Swinney is an all right coach.
Yeah.
Some people think he's great. I think he's okay to good.
He's okay.
Yeah, he's okay.
He had his run.
Yeah, and it's crashing and burning before our eyes, and I love it.
Yeah,
but
it shows you what happens when they don't have the top 5 player in the league in their position. That's basically
when you put yourself in that position too, by saying that you don't want these players to get paid, and they're looking at you all sideways.
Show me your coaching style then. With your threes. I want to see you coach a 3 to a 5. That's coaching.
He's not going to do that. He's not going to do that. It's going to. I don't even know what their next game is. I don't even want to watch. Actually, I do. I want to see like every one of these games to see it like in what fashion that he's going to be able to lose in. But if you go back, you look at like all of that bad habits that he was kind of almost rewarded for doing. You have to get that when that comes to coaching. You have to be okay. If there's a rush coming, you're about to get hit. Don't try to throw like a dude like a weird shoulder like
bad mechanics
like quarter throw and still try to get like the same velocity or be having the same accuracy. You're athletic. Try to move around, manipulate the pocket, or get down, and just let the play die and try to go.
Sometimes it's all right to just get hit. It worked against 18 and 19-year-olds in college. 18, 19, 20-year-olds in college. It doesn't work with a 25, 26-year-old person in their prime who's watching your eyes and watching you stare down this receiver the whole time. Like this. Like there's a guy that's literally watching you do that. And do you think because you got a strong arm, you're just going to throw it in there? Like physics is a thing.
Can't do it.
Yeah, it doesn't work. So with that said, I'm actually Chuck. You got the. I'm going with the Falcons, but I'm going with the under because it's London, bro. With the traveling and the what's it called, the jet lag. Yeah, I'm going with the Falcons. I don't know if the Falcons are going to necessarily win. I think it might be a push. It really might be a push, but I'm going with the Falcons on this one just because they have a great passing defense and. I think that's going to frustrate Trevor Lawrence. What do you think?
I got the Falcons, and I got going under. I don't know if this is going to be. I got a lot to see on Zach Wilson. We'll wait on that part. But I think this is going to like negatively affect them both. I don't know if both offenses are good. I don't necessarily believe in both defenses, especially when games start actually mattering down the season. I know we're only in week 4, but there's already some problems that have been kind of not being addressed since week 1. I don't believe technically in both of the quarterbacks for different reasons. I like the skill players that each team has, but if you can't have a reliable quarterback to get them the ball, what are you going to do? So I kind of see this as maybe both of them. You might see both teams not crack 20 points. That may happen. I'm just saying, and especially when you're talking about an international game, you're talking about the marketing version. No one wants to see a sub 40 or maybe even 30 point overall game. That's going to be boring. But that's probably what you're going to get when you got two mediocre teams in their own divisions who kind of got lucky at one point or another. The Falcons this year with them being 2-1 and close to the top of their division, and Jaguars last year who made that late playoff push and tried to use that same momentum.
They got it by accident.
Yeah, they did. They did.
It was like, oh shit!
And I had to turn the group chat off last year because when they made that comeback, I was like, nope, I can't do it. Can't do it.
I was pissed.
Nobody texted. I was
so
upset.
I woke up 4 o'clock in the morning to 900 text messages with Trevor Lawrence pictures. I'm like,
all the Trevor Lawrence gifts and everything.
Because here's the thing. You can't. Jimmy Days to give the praise to Jimmy G for that. You can't burn your house down and then get credit for putting out the fire.
Yeah.
Like this man threw 4 interceptions in the first half and then credit for coming back. You shouldn't have had to, bro. Like you shouldn't have threw those 4 interceptions in the first place. Like I credit the coach actually for putting you in position to actually, because if you looked at it, you went down to check down Charlie.
Yeah.
After that, and they went to the Yak Bros.
Yeah, but you also gotta blame the coach on the other side for letting them come back when you had such a. You couldn't. I don't know
if defense kept up too.
Be handed a win any easier, and then you drop it. You just fumble it that easily. You had it. You had every opportunity to win that game. And you just I don't know if I can cuss on here or not, but he wet the bed so bad.
I mean, there's only like 7 people in there, so we good. Like,
I'm trying to.
that's
if I start, I'm not gonna stop.
Yeah.
I can't do it. It's just,
Yeah, because I go on rants about Trevor Lawrence every week. So yeah, trust me.
How do you have that many turnovers and win that game? That shouldn't happen. That's not supposed to happen.
Wins and losses are a team sport. I mean, a team statistic. I hate that they give it to quarterbacks because you're saying the defense ain't what the defenses ain't there. What
about or like the quarterback versus quarterback thing? That's stupid to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree on the Falcons. Next one is the Bengals and the Titans. We ain't got to spend too much on this one because this is the next two actually are going to be battle of the mids. Battle of mids. Joey B still isn't all the way healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I think this might be Mike Vrabel's last year. Only reason I think he made it this long is because he's a disciple of Belichick and he's in Tennessee, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel you on that, Chuck. Yeah, Titans look like complete trash. They just keep getting worse every year. So Mike Vrabel is supposed to be a defensive genius. His defense is mediocre. His offenses are even worse. I don't even know what to make of the Titans. Derrick Henry's getting older. He can't take those hits anymore. Derrick Henry, this is why they don't want to pay. It sucks because I'm not for it, but I see why they don't want to pay running backs all that money.
Yeah. For the human aspect, you're saying pay up, but the business part of me is just like,
I see why.
You can take that money and get 2 or 3 of them and work it out, or get 2 running backs and try to find another positionless player that says that you can run both running back and receiver, because there are a lot of more. There are more of them coming out there. It's a lot. You can, and there was a thing like you can tell just this year going in there. I don't know. I had a feeling that Derrick Henry wasn't going to be the same. Just it wasn't going to have the same impact. You saw it a little bit last year. Yeah, saw it last year, and this year you're just like, I don't know if he's actually going to, have those, highlight plays that taking over the offense, especially when you have a quarterback that can't get anything downfield. And I think Ryan Tannehill is living off that 1 year where he actually took over when Marcus Mariota got benched. I think
like
he's
8
still
games.
succeeding on that. Yeah,
it wasn't even like a full year. It was like 8 games. He looked all right, but it's like he's still Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah,
he sounds like an insurance agent. Like I would trust him better to lower my car insurance rates. Like he could probably save me a bunch of money by switching to Geico. But as far as running an offense, are you Ryan Tannehill?
Yeah,
I'm cool on Ryan Tannehill. He should. I think this is they might be cleaning the house next year. Rand Carthen, who is the new GM, I think he might be cleaning the house. He might want to get one of his guys in there because he comes from the 49ers organization and he knows what winners look like. And he ain't trying to lose his job. So he just got hired this year. This is the first year with a new. You want your guy. I want my guy. If I'm a general manager, especially if this dude's losing, making me look bad.
So where do you like if Ryan Tannehill, like for this year, if Ryan Tannehill isn't that guy, and Derrick Henry is probably on his few last steps, and you got Mike Vrabel, who looks like he's, when it comes to play calling, he looks like he's pulling plays from Madden from 2002. Where do you actually go from, like, with your team? And I'm not sure what the college landscape is going to look like. Maybe like the next, not this coming draft, but the following draft. Because if Caleb Williams, and it's Caleb Williams, and I don't know who's going to be under him as of right now, but if you have that looking up, and it's not looking like the best situation, your best player that could possibly come in and look to save your franchise can stay. I can probably stay in college and not have to go there or deal with him. And I think Tennessee is probably going to be on that list with a couple of the teams where a lot of players don't want to have to go to because of that instability that's going to be there for maybe like the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is the game where I said that they should have benched Joe Burrow for a couple weeks and have him brought back so he could be healthy. I still don't know why they rushed him out there, knowing that he was still not 100%. You can see it in his walk that he was still kind of gingerly on that leg. This would have been a perfect game to kind of get him back acclimated because the Titans on offense and defense suck. You could have just had your backup in, and then you could have just acclimated him on there. This could have been an easy win. And they could have been 1-2 with the backup quarterback and then try to get Joe Burrow acclimated.
You still got 14 more games. Yeah, as long as you make it to the playoffs, you can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like the Bengals. I'm going with the under because Burrow's not healthy and the Titans' offense sucks. And they barely put up 40 plus against with the Ravens. You know who Ravens is a better team and a better defense. So I'm going Bengals 2.5, and I'm going with the under. What is your? Oh, it's at 40 now. It was 41.5. It's at 40. Oh, Sookie. I don't know if I'm going under 440. I don't know if I'm going under.
I was 40. Going over. I was going over because I'm looking at the injury report. You got a lot of people that are on the that are questionable for the Titans this game.
Yeah,
and they suck on both sides of the ball. So I mean, I can see even
41. I was cool with 41. I am not comfortable with 40. I'm not.
I gotta go over. I can't see them.
Yeah, I'm going over on that actually.
I can't see them like.
Well, my God, time. You going with the under? I was doing the under, Chuck, but I can't anymore. I can't do the under anymore. I'm going over, Chuck. Sorry. You all ahead? Man, wait, Chuck. We going in next. Broncos and Bears. Yeah, I mean they both trash. We already talked a bunch about Sean Payton. Justin Fields. I had higher hopes for Justin Fields, but
you did.
He doesn't have anyone to develop him.
Yep.
And I don't know if he's developable.
I think he is. But I think that he was one of those quarterbacks, especially when it came to maximizing his own talent, should have gone the Mahomes route. Just sit.
Yeah.
First, he needed to go to a completely other team because they had no one in front of Justin Fields to even try to mentor him, teach him how to be a professional, how to be a quarterback, run an offense, read defenses. He had no one to do that. So that's their first mistake. Oh, that's not his mistake. That's the mistake of the Chicago Bears by putting him in that situation, knowing that they're going to pick another quarterback probably this coming draft. But I don't think now he's quite developable. But I have no idea what he means. I don't think he's a person that you can develop into like an actual capable quarterback as of right now. I think he's been in that same kind of track that Trevor Lawrence is in. Just, let me do whatever I can to survive the offense. I don't believe in the organization. I don't really believe in the head coaches. I can say it all I want, but you let he'll slip up and probably say some other things and let his true feelings go up, especially when it comes on the sideline. All the cameras are going to be on him, and he
already said some stuff.
Everything what he says.
Yeah, he already said some stuff talking about maybe it is the coach, and I think it is. The coach's concepts are trash. Definitely. Their offensive concepts are complete trash. They're running stuff that I wouldn't even run in 14U. That stuff is like, come on, you'd running mirror passing concepts. Who runs that anymore? Like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
But with that said, even though Sean Payton's trash, the Bears are trash, Bears are at home, I still think at the end of the day, the Bears are Broncos are a better team. I'm going with the under because the Broncos defense, normally the Broncos defense is better. Normally, the under is mostly because both of them are trash. That's why I'm shooting for the under. I'm going with the Broncos. Who you got? What are you thinking?
I got the Broncos too. I don't believe in Sean Payton, but I do believe that he can take advantage of sorry defenses. And the Bears
better than Matt Eberflus.
Yeah, most definitely. And the thing is, it's like they're often, if you take away that one game with Miami, just because they were running up and down the field on them
Yeah,
the entire day. If you take away
literally.
that one game, they've been all right. They've been like as
Russell
a
Wilson's
total
averaging over
offense.
300 a game.
Yeah, so like he's showing progress. He's
Yeah.
getting better. He feels like he's being more comfortable within an offense that he ever did under Nat Hackett. So I think that you're actually going to see, the Broncos get their first win, but I think they're going to see also the defense step up because like they're going to say this ain't college. We're not supposed to get 70 scored on us. We got
Yeah.
embarrassed. We cannot get
That's
embarrassed
personal.
in front of the Bears. Yeah, it's getting real personal with them because they're having a lot of people talking about them, and they were supposed to be the crutch of that team, and they're not right now. So I think you're going to see a statement from them. It might not be, like a bunch of exclamation points at the end, but you're going to see probably like one exclamation of saying like, all right, this is the stepping stone that we need to take that's going to be projecting us through the rest of the year to try to get back to where we're supposed to be, wherever that is, and try to make sure that they can at least try to disrupt their own division because they're not going to win it. They're not going to get into the playoffs, but they got to do whatever they can to make sure that they're going to give the Kansas City and everybody else in the AFC the run for their money. And this is where they got to start at.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we're going to go to the next. This is brought to you by Friend Request Earth 8. We are so 9. Next 4 joints. We got the Bucks versus the Aints. Eagles, Commanders, Dolphins, Bills, Rams, Colts. All right.
This is a good group of games.
I like this
I feel like
grouping, yeah.
all these games are going to be good for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're all going to be.
You got your divisional games.
You probably exclude the
top
Rams,
3.
but other than that,
yeah, I mean, you have to let me know who was who because I thought the Rams were better than what they played last week, and I thought the Colts were worse than what they played last week. So, because the Colts beat the Ravens and the Rams lost to the Bengals, all hobbled up. So we'll see what is what, who is who. So it's like either the Rams were just a fluke on week 1, or the Colts are like, you know what? What about us? Don't forget about us in this AFC South is wide open. Wide open. That AFC South is wide open. Like the Eagles running lane that they're going to have against the Commanders. Because that's just what the Eagles do. They just run the ball very well. They're the number 1 running team. They will always be the number 1 running team while they still got those maulers up there. Jason
hopefully
Kelce
they can stay healthy throughout the year because that is
as long as they stay healthy.
Player push.
Yeah, their run game is just straight brute. Like with the 49ers, they got like the number 3 run, or it might be 5 now or whatever. But it's more about finesse. Eagles is straight like
it's just straight old school running.
Old school ground time. We just gonna run
body on body. That you're gonna have to stop us. You're gonna have to show what a man you were and try to move us out the way, especially when they get in that whatever the formation is. Like they're gonna take a kneel down and it's gonna just do a whole team push to gain a couple of inches.
Yeah, absolutely. So I start with the Bucks.
All right.
They got the Bucks. They're giving the Bucks 3.5. Saints are at home over under 40.5. I'm going with the Saints, and I'm going under because the Saints defense and the Bucks defense, they actually have rather good defense. They're both good at stopping the run, and I believe the Saints are better than the Bucks at stopping the pass. And I think being the home team is what's going to be the difference. You going for an under? Yeah, no Carr. Yeah, the Saints don't have Carr.
They don't? Oh, wait. Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm going Saints. He said he's picking the Bucks because of no Carr. I'm picking I'm still picking the Saints because I think Jameis Winston is still serviceable enough to do. Because he came in and won the game last week, so he did solid. He was 10 of 16, 100 something yards. And that's the thing about Jameis Winston. He's a 50-50 quarterback. So
I think you're going to get that.
Alvin Kamara comes back.
50 that you don't want in this game.
Yeah.
I kind of have to go the under, but I'm going to pick the Bucks, and that kind of pains me to say it because even though I'm not with a team, I've kind of been avidly anti-Bucks just because I couldn't stand them with everything that they've done historically. But I still got to give it to them. I'm not convinced that Baker is that guy.
He's not.
But I think that he's done as well as you it's minus some throws from last week because I think he should have had another touchdown on his record and probably like 100 more yards. I'm not sure. Like he's had a couple questionable plays, but I think that he's going to probably learn from that and try to be a little bit more consistent. He probably won't have like big numbers, but I think that he's going to try to put the ball in the right places. The Bucs running attack, though, that's the part that kind of concerns me because they just don't run the ball.
Suspect.
Don't run the ball.
And the Saints aren't going to allow them to pass the ball. So
right. But you can say that you can kind of say that for the Bucs defense too, even though they have a lot of injuries in their secondary. And right now they have Vita Vea is questionable, Devin White's questionable, and Jamal Dean is all questionable. I mean,
pillars.
What is it?
All pillars of the defense.
All of them are important pieces on there. So if you got to take that into account. But I still think that I'm still taking the under. I still think this is going to be one of those attrition games where you're going to say, all right, who is going to be outlasting who? Yeah, Baker was zinging some of those passes he should have made, especially that one pass that was on the corner to Mike Evans, where I don't know why it kind of like floated, but also Mike Evans didn't make like the best like effort to make that catch, because if he would have just backpedaled and turned to his left side, opened up his hips a little bit more, he could actually made that completion. But he kind of like turned to his left on the inside and was still trying to catch the ball on his outside. That was not really the best formulated play when it comes to technique on both sides, from the passer and the receiver. And what was it, that one like 3rd down and 5 where he stepped up in the pocket and he tried to throw a deep ball downfield where there was double coverage when he could have easily just ran for the 1st down and slid. Like those things, that's what I mean when it comes to consistency in your play. You have to be able to make smart decisions. And I think he might have gotten a little hurt on that play because he kind of woke up with a stinger in his shoulder. We'll see if he learned his lesson on that, but still, I got to give it to the Bucs on this, and it still pains me to say this, but it's still going to be an under. I feel like you're going to get one of these teams that are going to score in the teens, and maybe the other team is going to get to 20, 21.
You just try to make the Perrys proud. That's all.
No, no, I'm not. We got 3 Bucs fans, and 2 of them are delusional. I can't do it. I think that they're gonna win every game, and I have to be the voice of reason. That's gonna be like, they're not gonna win, and this is the exact reason why. And every time I've been proven right.
Speaking of delusional, Eagles versus the Commanders. I love, I'm from the Philadelphia area, Coolsville, PA, and there ain't nothing more delusional than an Eagles fan.
What about the Cowboys fans?
They're not delusional. They're just crazy. There's a difference.
Okay.
Cowboys fans are crazy. Eagles fans are delusional. They're see what I'm saying? Go Birds. But that face too. Just his son's face.
His son looks like that one meme of that
crass
one baby that goes like this.
Look at that. Look at that language. Come on, bro. Kiss your wife with that mouth, man. Rude. That's why they got a jail in y'all stadium. You guys are unruly.
They need a new stadium. The only way they're going to win this game if it's a piece of that stadium breaks off and hits Jalen Hurts with it. Wait, are they? They're at home. They're in Philly, right?
They are home.
Okay.
They are home.
Oh, that changes it.
Yeah. I am talking a whole bunch of trash. But to be honest with you, I did pick them 8 and over 44 because the Commanders, Sam Howell. That's why. Sam Howell. And that Eagles defense is solid. The pass rush specifically. Sam Howell took, 7 sacks last week?
Yeah,
or something like that?
19 for the year.
Right, yeah, he's at 19. No, actually, he was 9 or something like that. I think it was 9
Yeah, it was like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Taking a lot of unnecessary hits.
Yeah, it was 9 sacks. He took 9 sacks, and that was against a defense that's not as good on a pass rush. Like Jalen Carter, I knew he was going to be a top defensive tackle. Like, what people fall in love with these character traits. It's like, all right, if you follow any teenager around with a camera, you liable to find something you ain't gonna want to find. Yeah, any teenager.
But that's different. That made that there was like a national news for a reason.
Nah, yeah, that was crazy.
You can't compare like that incident to like the Jameis Winston college crab thing. Like,
that's not even.
That wasn't a big deal. That was a teenager being a teenager, but a teenager that could have drastically changed a couple people's lives, and not for the better, all for the worse. I mean, those are concerns, and especially you didn't know where that was going. He could have not been on the field this year, and there is still a chance that he cannot be on the field for the team. It just depends on how the legal situation goes. But him as just a talent and not one of those, what was like how Jadeveon Clowney was like the consensus number 1, but there was like a bunch of people just like, he is not actually that guy because he only has a couple of moves. Like Jalen Carter he put him on any defensive front and he would shine. It's just he lucked up and landed in Philly where they have a bunch of people who could be on a lot of
from Georgia.
And
the Philadelphia Bulldogs is what I like to call them. And their defense is playing like it. I mean, at the end of the day, the Georgia Bulldogs had a grown team. They had an NFL defense, and the Eagles was like, we're gonna reinvent it. And I don't knock the Raiders for trying to do that with Clemson. However, if they would have understood, the Clemson guys were a little bit smaller and lighter in the ass than normal. But those Bulldogs, they look like grown men out there. Like that Georgia team looked a little bit different that year. What was that? 2 years ago? That was, or last year, whatever. 2 years ago. I always get my years mixed up when they actually. It's a difference between 2 seasons ago and the actual, because they always play in the January of the following year. So so I think 2 years ago, but that team was crazy talented with defense. Like, I mean, most of those dudes are like first round talent. Like on one team, I see why they won the championship.
Yeah, you can. But, it was like almost like how the Alabama defense is from like the late the late 2000s and the early 2010s. How you pretty much had a first or second round pick at every position going up. I mean, it's basically just like who's gonna get what player and who's gonna be remaining from that roster that we can take. And all of them were gone, and it's like, okay, now we have to scout to the other schools. Now we have to really do our homework. We can't just go and plug and play an Alabama guy, which all being it, they need to start doing that more. They can't just rely on like just one few schools. You got to go into other ones, but still, you like those players, especially going like regarding Jalen Carter, put him anywhere. Just put him on any defense, put him on any team. He'll still be one of the best players on the team as a rookie.
Absolutely.
You'll still have to be like, all right, where is he located on the field? Like the Tom Brady thing on his QB wristband saying locate 20. You have to locate him every time. Who is he on? Do we need to double team him? Do we need to move people around so we can get maybe our center or just on him and ship him with our running back? Do we need to double team him with the center and the guard? Is he going to line up a little bit outside on this play? And how are we going to be able to stop him? And as of right now, you can't. He's big, he's fast, he's strong, he's a lot better than a lot of these offensive linemen that you got on your squad. You're going to have a tough time with him. And the things that we were saying about Micah Parsons, like he's only going to get better. No, he is going to get better, and I still don't see.
He still ain't get his grown man strength yet. He still has to get his grown man strength. Like
his technique is marvelous though for him being such a young player, and that's the thing that you would think he's going to have to coach more. Just wait until he gets used to how everybody starts playing, especially using his leverage more, getting to that natural NFL strength and conditioning. If he is going to be a problem, a huge problem.
Absolutely. Next up, we got the Dolphins and the Bills. The Dolphins almost broke the record. They showed mercy on the Broncos. I wouldn't have showed no mercy. And people missed the troll because Mike McDaniels is a big troll. Mm-hmm. So the big troll was people missed this one. The Broncos didn't even want to interview Mike McDaniels for the head coaching gig. Like they just flat out just said, nah, we don't think you're head coaching material. Mike McDaniels used to be the ball boy for the Broncos. Yeah. He grew up a Broncos fan. So that was personal. It's like the Jordan quote. And I took it personal. Mm-hmm. And Sean Payton talking all that trash. That man hung 70. The record is 73. This ain't Madden. I'm like, 70? I'm like,
and I think 8 yards off from breaking the all offensive.
Yeah, like he did that on purpose. Dolphins covering over. Okay, Chuck, I see you. You saying the cover in the over for the Dolphins? I see you, Chuck. Oh my! Different Mikey.
I have to think about this one for a little bit because there's some.
I thought about it, but I didn't have to think too hard. It went down to 2.5. This is why I gotta lock it in, and I'm gonna show you this, right? Because first, this is what first. I'm gonna show you what I picked. I picked the Dolphins +3 over 53. I'm the same with you, Chuck. You see how they dropped it half a point, and it made the under go up half a point. So that's because they understood. People were picking that bet like crazy. That is. Historically, also, even going back to last year, the Dolphins played the Bills better in game one all the time. I agree with that. The Bills look very good, especially their defense.
He said, but
7.
Yeah. And here, the thing I have to think about it is, what Josh Allen are we going to get?
Yeah.
What Josh Allen are we going to get? The Josh Allen, not even the Josh Allen that had like the 3-4 turnovers. Are we going to get the Josh Allen that's just like reckless with himself, that is going to try to like run over people, who's going to try to like hurdle people? Are we going to try to make all the down the field throws instead of being that methodical person? Because even when I think it was the last game where he was the week before. When he was offensive player of the week, where he had like 3 touchdowns, these still some questionable plays where he tried to hurdle someone over in like down like the 3-yard line, and I'm like, what are you doing? I get it. You're just as big as everybody on the field. You're just as tall as everybody on the field, but the position that you play is far too important. You need to start having a level of smart and consistency with that intellect that I know that you have, and I know that you can actually put on.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying that you're the 2nd, 3rd best quarterback in the league. And there's some crazy people that's arguing right now that he should be number 1, especially with the Chiefs kind of like step back this year. So are we going to get
they got to argue with somebody else?
Yeah, because That's not happening. I'm not sure. I think you're going to get somewhere that's in the middle. I think you're going to get the Josh Allen who is going to start making plays, but in the back of his mind knows that this is an offense that just scored 70 points on a team, and they have to say,
and they're
and
going to want to
have to be
respond.
like, I have to keep up with that.
They're going to want to respond, and I think that's why the over 54 for me personally. Because the Dolphins average 40 points a game. So, I think the Bills are going to score more than 14. I think the Dolphins are going to outright win. Now, I don't think they're going to blow them out or anything crazy like that, because the Bills are very good and they got a solid defense. But that Dolphins, Mike McDaniels is showing you who was the real genius over there with the 49ers. 49ers just started averaging 30 points with Brock Purdy.
Then you also got to look at like the players that are in out or questionable for the Bills secondary. Micah Hyde is questionable. Jordan Poyer questionable. Floyd, Johnson, Neal, they're all questionable. So if let's just say
that's the back players, end. Who's stopping Tyreek Hill?
And I'm not sure if is Waddle going to be playing, because if Waddle's playing, they have another huge problem that they have to deal with.
I believe Waddle's coming back.
So Dolphins all the way. You got two.
I think Dolphins are going to actually win.
You got a cheetah and a penguin who you can't stop. Then you have Raheem Mostert, who might as well just be a receiver playing running back, but he's still lightweight, but he can still run the ball. You got A-Chain.
You got two chains. You got three chains.
Only Tua can mess this up as of right now, but he's showing that he's not.
I agree.
He's been better. One. Yeah, a lot better.
He's playing but here's the thing: Mike McDaniels is just like Kyle Shanahan's system. All you need to be is accurate and on time, and Tua's accurate and on time. So that's it.
Those were his two best qualities coming into the NFL. It was nothing else. That he can make throws on time in certain windows, and he can be accurate if you were to give him enough time in the pocket to throw the ball. If he has to make anything off script, you're in trouble, because now he's kind of opening himself up. But the thing that is different from last year, I mean, he's taken some steps to protect himself. That jiu-jitsu class that he's going, where he learned how to fall, which is a real thing. You know, a lot of people don't know how to fall means, and it's a natural thing that we all just kind of like would want, especially if we're kind of focusing on something, to keep focusing on that, even though we're being yanked down. That's a thing. It's a whole skill that you have to kind of reteach yourself, of just like, hey, let me not fall on the soft part of my skull, which is, you know, it seems like a duh thing.
You're trying not to die.
Yeah. And he's done, I feel like, everything that he possibly could to protect himself. And you're seeing that it's paying dividends right now. Not only with the skill set that he's already had, and now he's putting to good use, but all the other things that he's going, bail and roll. Yep. But I don't think he doesn't have to do that now in the coming weeks, because there's a certain team that's going to be down the line where he's going to actually need to do that when he starts facing defenses that can attack him and kind of go against that timing that Mike McDaniels has. But there's one thing that I do want to bring up. Are we sure? I mean, it just comes to a whole team thing. Are we sure that Mike McDaniels, when it comes to running a whole team, isn't going to be like Cliff Kingsbury, to where they have these hot starts and they kind of tail off at the end? And I know they made it to the playoffs last year, and they've made it to the playoffs with the third string quarterback. But even before then, there was still some things where stuff wasn't going right. And I know it had to do with injury, but still, that's still going to be on his record that he's had these excellent starts, and then everything has just sort of just gone downhill to where you couldn't actually maximize your full potential. So, and I'm not saying that Mike McDaniel is Cliff Kingsbury, but they can probably, I don't know, that's just a person that just popped into my head, which is how like their season has gone from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, his defense is what's going to prevent him from being there. Because he's focused. Sorry. Oh, Lord. I'm 97 years old, past 9 o'clock. Pop got to take his teeth out.
Geez, I'm gonna start yawning too. I haven't looked at the clock.
Nah. So yeah, his defenses are what's going to prevent him from being over the top if they don't do better at adjusting. I think his offenses are clicking better, and I think this is the real test because Kyle Shanahan in their type of offenses takes about a year or so to master because of the verbiage in it.
Yeah.
And this is the healthiest Tua's been. So I think I make my Super Bowl predictions. I already did it in the beginning, but I do middle of the season one where it's more accurate throughout whatever.
Yeah.
Even though that can even change towards the end of the year, but I just do half of the year just to lock one in. And I'm leaning Dolphins right now. I'm leaning them just because that's where we are as a league. It's just, all right, just stop me then. Yeah. I'm going to just put up 70 points. I don't care if you put up 25, 30. Stop 70. You know what I mean? So it's like arena league football kind of. It's like if I score a touchdown every time, I only got to stop one of yours. That's it. Next one, we go on Rams and Colts.
Bring up this report.
Anthony Richardson, I believe, is being healthy, is getting healthier, which actually might not work out for them. I think actually Gardner Minshew playing was better for the Colts. Just because he's a little bit more seasoned.
To show they can be a more well-rounded team with him behind center.
Yeah. But I do like Anthony Richardson's ceiling. I think he's going to be a good, solid quarterback. He has all the attributes for his KC Super Bowl. That's what I picked in the preseason, Chuck. However, bang bang Niners gang, cuz I wasn't sure how the Niners were going to look, but I'm going Niners so far, and potentially KC or the Dolphins. You going Rams and under, Chuck? He's a bigger boy. Yes, he is. He's built like Cam Newton, but faster.
But he needs to learn. He needs to learn from what happened with Cam Newton. Yeah, he was successful, but do you really like? You can still run, be athletic. You're bigger than a lot of the people on there, but still, those wide open hits, especially that end around touchdown that he had that made him get that concussion. That was preventable. Like I know, like you are confident that you can take those hits, but can you take those hits one after another, after another, after another? You have to be able. Yeah, you don't want to. You have to be able. You have to be able to navigate through that. That like a lot of those things are preventable. Get down, dive. Use your actual speed. Don't let up and give yourself to be like have a wide open shot. Just you got to be smarter. And I do feel like he'll learn from this. But as of right now, I got to take the Rams. I think that
Rams.
Yeah, I'm going Rams, but I'm going under because I'm not sure, especially like you said, I don't think it's going to actually work out for them because I think they're going to be a more well-rounded team with Gardner Minshew. Doesn't mean they're going to be worse long run, but that he's inexperienced. The Rams defense is actually good. They can be better in a lot of areas. Their offense could definitely be a lot better, but that has to go with just getting the right, getting players the ball more and kind of navigating this without having, your main number one target that Stafford is used to all this time. But, it's not going to be a high scoring game. This is going to be a defensive game on who's going to be able to stop who's best playmaker. I'm not sure if Richardson is going to be having the time to make all of the throws, even though that he's shown the ability to make all the throws.
Yeah.
He needs another receiver. I don't know who that is, but they need to get somebody.
He needs some milk. Yeah, he needs some milk on the other side. I feel y'all. I'm going under as well, but I'm going with the Colts. I'm going Colts with this one, just because they beat the Ravens, and that's why. Because they beat the Ravens, their defense is sneakily pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Sneakily. This is sneaky.
Yeah, you said wide open division for the AFC South. I don't know if it's wide open. I think right now it's a 2-team race. It's the Texans who are looking pretty good because they have a competent quarterback.
CJ Stroud is nice. I thought he was the best quarterback. I don't know why he wasn't the number one pick, to be honest with you. I don't see it in Bryce Young.
I think it was that Ohio State stigma that a lot of
that's why, but it's like that's just dumb. That's casual football. It's like, who cares what city you come from and what college you went? You know what I mean? Like,
I think it's the offense that he ran, because he's shown the competent quarterback, that he can be, but he only was able to show that in his last 2 games. If you look at the rest of his career, it was like a sixth of his throws were just being screens to the outside and letting his playmakers do it. You're not going to run those. You're not going to run a lot of those plays there. You could see those plays being ran and just being an extension of your running game. But if you're talking about reading defenses and making accurate throws, he wasn't able to show that. And that's just how Ohio State runs their offense. And now we're seeing that even if you have a really good quarterback, you see Ohio State, they're not really doing that glamorous when it comes to their offensive side of the ball. So you now see that it does take a competent quarterback to actually run that simplistic offense. But he is a good quarterback.
I think that was more indicative of the offense than the quarterback. My thing was what I saw him do to the Bulldogs defense. Mm-hmm. Nobody else did that. And like I said before, the Bulldogs defense is an NFL defense. I'm like, he's doing that to an NFL. He was carving them boys up. Mm-hmm. And I said, he's going to get to the league. He's going to be nice. And he is carving these boys up in the league now with nobody. It's Nico Collins and Tank Dell. Tank Dell is playing out of community college. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, CJ Stroud's going to be nice. And I like DeMeco Ryans having him, because DeMeco Ryans is going to be a good coach, because I think he's going to be a good coach. Now, DeMeco Ryans, he might not be the greatest coordinator, but he's a good coach. Yeah. There's a difference. I think he's going to coach him up well. Yeah, it did, Chuck. Yeah. It really did. That Georgia game really, that's what did it for me. That's what, because I was like, I don't see because everybody was knocking him. I was like, I don't know. He looks pretty solid. Mm-hmm. But let me just watch him. I said, let me see what he does. And when he lit Georgia up, I said, oh, no, that's it. I said, there's no way. I said, what is holding him back was coaching. Mm-hmm. That was what was holding him back in Ohio State, was Ryan Day being Ryan Day. Mediocre, mids, Ryan Day. Yeah. Yeah, Bryce is too young. And I don't see it. He does the same thing as Trevor Lawrence. He bails, throwing bail. He's little. I didn't see it. It's because he interviewed well. That's why they like Bryce Young. They like these.
I would like Bryce Young better if he was just. It's not the height. The height bothers me some. It does, but he's also very, very light. I know, and everybody was like, there's a lot of people that stuck on that combine weight. I was like, he got bigger for the combine. He's not going to be able to sustain that weight. He's going to be at 100, at most 190 max throughout the season. That's going to be his limitation. He's probably going to be anywhere between 185 and 182. That's his sweet spot. But I think that he's more. Kyler's built. Kyler. He's not Russell Wilson built, but you look at Kyler has muscles on him. He has the. I could say this, but I'll be completely wrong because Kyler Murray's gotten hurt a lot. But he can sustain hits more than Bryce Young can, because he has what 20 pounds on him, I think. What Kyler Murray's what it's coming at 205 at 210 at one point.
Little pudgy little thing.
Yeah.
All right, next 4 games. Let me see how many we gotta go to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 more games. So next 4: Ravens, Browns, Steelers, Texans, Vikings, Panthers, Raiders, Chargers. That Browns defense is Jim Schwartz doing what Jim Schwartz does to defenses the first 2 years. He's another one. He starts off real hot, and then his flame fizzles out because he just does not know how to adjust after a while. But this is definitely on par with Jim Schwartz for his first 2 years with the defense. Yep. They look crazy. Myles Garrett is playing like we thought Myles Garrett should have been playing. Denzel Ward, those CBs. That's Browns defense is the number 1 defense in the league right now. Like they are playing real football right now. Ravens, they are the weirdest team in the history. Like, I don't know what to take of them. They beat teams that you thought they ain't gonna beat. They lose to the Colts. They're just Lamar Jackson's playing better, but the defense is. I don't know. I don't know what to make of the Ravens. I think John Harbaugh. They just need a new. John Harbaugh just may need to go. They just might need a new, fresh look. And John Harbaugh is not a bad coach. I think it's just stale. I think everything's just stale now.
I don't really know if Harbaugh is technically the issue. I think it's the adjustments when it came to coaching that maybe came a little too late when it came to the offensive side of the ball. And the reason why I say that is now they decide, in 5 years in, this is the part that's weird to me. 5 years in, now you are worrying about the offensive weapons when you had the opportunity to get a lot more people. And I know, like, receivers, they didn't want to sign there because they didn't want to become, glorified blocking tight ends. And I understand that as a receiver perspective when you want to actually get the ball more. But there were still other things that you could do in order to get Lamar Jackson support when it came to the outside. And they didn't do that. And now you're waiting for the 5th year in when you have, I'm drawing a blank on the receiver that they just drafted who looks like he's already going to be the number 1 receiver.
Flowers?
Yeah, Flowers. And now then they signed Odell, which I'm not even sure if he's played yet or
he's hurt. Man, he's stealing money. This dude wanted $20 million a year. He out here hurt. He over there stealing the church's money. I can't stand that bum. And Staley out. Yeah, Ryan Staley, the tackles out. Yeah, Myles Garrett is going to eat.
Yeah, it says Staley's questionable. I'm not sure if that's we're gonna get the news on that. And Linderbaum is also questionable. I feel like they're always. Another thing is they're always hurt. People always talk about the 49ers always getting hurt. The Ravens are up there too, where they always have
number 1
season-ending injuries.
Number 1 every year they're up there. They just stay hurt. That's a leadership thing because that means you're not paying attention enough to the strength and conditioning of your team.
Yeah,
which is probably the most important because the best ability is availability. I don't care who you are if you ain't on the team.
And look at all the injuries that come up. They're always knee injuries. Yep, they're always ACL, ligament tears in the knees. They're always just these high ankle injuries or torn Achilles. It's like it happens every single year. There's going to be 1 or 2 that happen. And they always happen with like either preseason and training camp or before like they played like their 4th or 5th game. And then they have to try to like glue something together, glue like their back end or a roster.
Hey man, good. I think
he's questionable. He might not play.
Yeah, I was about to say he's been. So Chuck, you going with the Ravens in the under? I'm going with the Browns in the
They're
under.
going Browns.
Because look at the history of their rivalry last 2 or 3 years. The home team has won. That's why. This is, I mean, they go back to when this is Ravens are the Cleveland Browns. So you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's the weird thing. So whoever's home always wins. Basically, the Browns always win at home. So whether it's the Ravens Browns or the Browns, because last 2 years I believe they split the home, and with this Browns defense, I think just the Ravens lost to the Colts. This is the part of the year I think where the Ravens have that little mysterious slump where they just lose to random people. Mm-hmm. And this is that part of the year, and the Browns defense is going to, especially the pass defense, is going to stop them. I believe personally.
I'll say I got the Ravens, and I'm taking them to go under just because I think this is going to be more of a defensive game. I don't think that Lamar Jackson is still completely used to the offense, and I don't know if he's going to have all of his players to be able to utilize that offense regardless. You know, you're going to have one of your actual receivers, again, Bateman not play, Odell's out now. I don't know who is actually going to and Mark Andrews is still a really, really good tight end, but it's proven you can find a way to take him out of the game, and you know teams have struggled with that, but you found a way to at least neutralize him a little bit. Now you got to rely on the running game again. So really, stuff has not changed like that, and I think Jackson is still leading the team in rushing again. And I don't see a lot of changes as of right now. And I know it's only week 4, but I think a lot of people had the expectation that we were going to see a completely different offense. And it kind of feels like we're just looking through a new lens at the exact same thing.
Yeah.
There's not much different going on with this team. They have better players on the offensive side of the ball. And still, they have a really good defense who's still going to give no matter who's hurt, they're still going to give anybody a run for their money. But it's still the same old. It's still the same old team, same old Ravens. That's not a bad thing either. But it's still the same Baltimore Ravens that we've come to know. They're most likely going to be on the cusp of getting into the playoffs or just miss it, depending on what the injuries are. But we'll see how Lamar Jackson does. Nick Chubb being out,
one of the best backs in the league. They did get Kareem Hunt, who's going to pick up right where he left off, so he should know the system.
He might be fat now. So
yeah. So he's been hunting. So he's, Ned. That's my Ned's my twin, my best friend. Yeah, that's the.
Thank you, Ned.
Yeah. I'm going with the Browns. Who you like? You said who you going with?
I'm going Ravens. I'm going under.
Ravens?
I don't know if. That Deshaun Watson's been playing okay. His last game was a better game. He just need to not make that weird backwards throw 20 yards. I get what he was trying to do. Executing it is something different. But if it's not going to work out how it is, then you might as well just not do it. There's infinitely more things that you can do to be able to protect the ball and not try to give the ball back to the other team within your own territory, possibly at your own 20-yard line and field goal range. That can't happen.
Yeah. Steelers, Texans.
This one's hard.
I agree with that. So I think the Texans are playing better defense than they normally do. You gotta focus, my man. Focus, man. Kenny Pickett is trash. That is, his name is basically who he is. He's throwing a bunch of picks. CJ Stroud is okay, but TJ Watt might be doing his thing. But CJ Stroud does well in stepping up in the maneuvering around in the pocket. I like their wide receivers. What I actually struggled more. So here's my thing. I'm going with the Texans, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was 3. They was giving them 3. See, now they're only giving them 2.5 because they knew. So I'm gonna fix it because it was 3 and 42.5. I'm still, because I think the Texans are going to win. I think the Texans are going to outright win, and I'm going over because Texans put up 30-something points on a very good team last week. So, and I think the Steelers' defense aren't as good as the team they played last week. So that's why I think over, and that's why I think Texans. What do you think?
All right, so I agree with you. I don't like Kenny Pickett either. I still don't know why. I don't know why they made the choice on there. I guess because he was a Pittsburgh guy. I guess
that's exactly why they did that. Pittsburgh's into that type of stuff.
Yeah, they're like their homegrown players. You can even look back a couple of years and see how they would with the pick of James Conner. But James Conner made a little bit more sense than picking Kenny Pickett in the first round. That should have been a second round pick or maybe even a third round pick, like all the other quarterbacks been. But he was a project either way. They scored 37 points against the Jags last week. I think the Steelers are better than the Jags.
You think so?
Not by much, but I think it all has to do with coaching, and it's because I hold Mike Tomlin in such a high regard than I think I would ever hold with Doug Peterson. I think there's the consistency of coaching. You could probably say the same thing about
coaches in the league. I think he's one of the best coaches in the league. He doesn't have a losing record.
Yeah, and I feel like you could say that sort of like the same things, like how you said with Jim Harbaugh, like it's just getting stale, it's getting old. I feel like you can sort of say the same thing with Tomlin, but I feel like he's one of those coaches be like, you could tell me the same thing every single year, and I'll be like, yeah, coach, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, I don't need to hear a new speech. Give me the same old routine, and I'll still play for you just as hard. I feel like he's one of those coaches. But I like the Texans, and I like them going over just because I don't know about the Steelers' passing game, and it has a lot to do with how their offensive line plays. It has a lot to do about the decision making of Kenny Pickett. It just has a lot to do with how they also handle pressure and his own pocket presence. One thing I do like about CJ Stroud, and this is a thing that he's never had to do, and this is like a weird thing that I picked up on. His play action, even though it doesn't have like the best success rate, his play action when it comes to actually faking out the defense is actually really, really good. And getting his head around and trying to read the side of the field where he's rolling out to or the opposite side of the play action that's happening, he's looking like a veteran when he does that. So I know they don't have, like an elite running game, but I think that presence of what a running game could be would actually work in his favor. Yeah, TJ Watt is that guy. I can't even argue that. And that's going to be.
I always, when teams are closely matched, I always look at the quarterbacks, and CJ Stroud is just a better quarterback than Kenny Pickett.
But I'll give you another name, Patrick Peterson. He's old.
He's old.
He's old. And he's got a lot of times this year. Too many. And
he's been getting got for the last few years since Minnesota. He's been cold since Minnesota. Speaking of Minnesota, we got the Vikings and the Panthers. Ironically, the Panthers put up more points when Bryce Young went out and Andy Dalton came in. Because Bryce Young is a bum. And he's going to be a bum. He's a bum.
I don't know about bum. Dang.
He about to have the old school cartoon stick with the fabric around it, with the polka dot in the clothes.
Oh, with the little to-go sack like you about to ride on the rails.
Yeah. Walking down the railroad tracks. That's Bryce Young. He's a bum.
I think that I feel like you put any type of rookie in this offense in this situation because
Yeah.
I mean, they have.
It's too early to call him a bum. I'm just messing, but he's not going to be good. I don't think he's going to be
that. I don't think he's going to be that good, and it has nothing to do with him. I think it's more of just what Carolina has. I mean, even if you think of like the most successful years of the Panthers and all those who run to Cam Newton, who did he actually have besides Greg Olsen and D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart? They didn't really have a good supporting staff. You look at what their skill positions now. You have DJ Shark, who's he's a good number 2, number 3. You have Adam Thielen, who was also
DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey.
If you would have kept one of them, had an opportunity to keep one of them, you would have been a lot better.
Both on one team and couldn't do anything.
And you have Miles Sanders, who's not really that good as an RB1. He most likely he took advantage of the excellent running offensive line that he has. How they're doing it now, going through wide open holes. He made money off that, and they are regretting giving him that money. I was like, this is not going to
Adam
work.
Gase making his fame off of being the offensive coordinator for Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Exactly, and Josh McDaniels for Tom Brady. It's like you're offensive coordinator for Nathaniel Hackett for Aaron Rodgers. Like you dabble with Josh Allen. These guys are stealing money because they got top talent at these positions. Yep. I could be offensive coordinator. I'm actually, to be honest with you, I think I am a better offensive coordinator than these dudes. Now, I coordinated in the NFL by any means, but I think I would do a better job than these guys, to be honest with you, because I actually would care about the players around me and try to build an offense according to the people and not just try to fit squares into circles.
Yes. You're not going to fit my system. I'm gonna take a system and try to fit it around you guys or whatever your skill set is.
I think I'm actually with you though, Chuck. I'm going with the bike. Oh, it's at 4.5 now. It was at 3.5. Oh, so it's at 4.5. Let me switch it. I'm still going with the Vikings though. I think they're going to mollywop them. The Vikings are better than their 0-3 record. Kirk Cousins has actually been serviceable, and the Panthers are just hot butter garbage. I think they're taking for Caleb Willis because they saw how trash Bryce Young is. So they're like, man, we're taking for Caleb.
Nah, they can't do that. How much draft? No, wait, I'm thinking of. No, yeah, that was them. They gave up all the draft capital to get Bryce Young. They can't do that.
No, they can't. They don't have nothing. They gave it all up for Bryce Young. Same thing the 49ers did for Trey Lance.
But I got the Vikings too. I don't think that just overall, like if you look at the team from top to bottom on both sides of the ball, they're not I'm talking about the Panthers. The Panthers are not that good. They're not. I don't know how. I'm even if you look at the rest of the schedule, you can make a case that they might win just 2 games this year, and they might be in the exact same spot that Chicago is in right now, or that
Chicago gets their pick.
Yeah, they got their picks back from.
So Chicago is going to get Caleb and Marvin Harrison Jr.
Speaking of, isn't he? I think he's hurt right now, right? No, he got back up and started playing the game again.
Yeah.
He got a little scare during the game of Notre Dame, but it looks like he's going to be all right. Hopefully, he doesn't get hurt and goes through the what was the receiver that tore his ACL? I think he's on the Lions. I think the one that got suspended. Is it Met? No, it's not. Mechie plays for the Texans. Jameson Williams.
Yeah, Williams. Yeah. Williamson or Williams. Yeah, I know somebody. Yep. All right. So Raiders, Chargers. Whoop, almost.
They both suck.
Yeah, Chargers defense. Now, Raiders are even worse. Jimmy G is who I told everybody who Jimmy G was. It's just Kyle Shanahan makes quarterbacks look better than what they are.
Yeah.
That's what Kyle Shanahan does. He made Matt Schwab look good. He made Matty Ryan look good. He made RG3 looked great. He made Kirk Cousins look good. So Williams out for the year. Yeah. I'll take Adams. Adams is the one-on-one GOAT slant god. I'll take him, but he ain't gonna come over to 49ers. It's too much money and
I was about to say that would be you guys
cheating.
would have a field day if you got Adams, but that's gonna be way too much.
Yeah.
Dang, I don't know. They both suck in a lot of ways.
I had to put my parentheses for this. This is I think the Raiders are going to cover. I still think the Chargers are going to win. So I think the Chargers are going to win, just not by 5.5 points. Okay. I think they're going to win by like 3.5 points. Because Jimmy G is going to do what Jimmy G does. He's going to throw 19 interceptions, and then he's going to lead a close comeback, but it's going to fall short because he's going to throw an interception to seal the game. Now, that pick six may be the one that's going to put the Chargers with the points over because they're going to be within like 3 points or whatever to tie it, but hopefully he doesn't throw a pick six. But I'm going Raiders with the points, but I think Chargers are going to.
I mean, I want to take the Chargers just because they have Justin Herbert, and Justin Herbert is probably going to be the best player that they have on both sides of the ball. You can make the argument who's going to be more important to this team, Justin Herbert or Adams trying to bail out Jimmy G. But
that's Jimmy G emoji right there. Just FYI, trash truck juice.
Trash.
That's Jimmy G.
So yeah, I was like, what is that? I was trying to figure out what that meant. I thought it was a tow truck at first.
Yeah, I mean, it could be because you take out. Usually, when you got a tow truck, it's because it's broke down on the side of the road.
Oh,
so
yeah,
Jimmy G is
he probably gonna get hurt.
Truck. He's actually the dumpster. It's actually a dumpster juice, like the bottom of the dumpster truck, like the juice at the bottom of it. Underneath of that, where the metal is like slick. And like metallic-y and real like chemically because it's been sitting there. That's Jimmy G. He's that runoff. That water that runs off. Like he's the hot butter garbage. Like
I'm thinking about this. This is hard because unlike the previous one we talked about the Vikings and Panthers, where you can see a team had clear cut, they have like their problems. But you can see that they're going in the right direction, and the Panthers are just not. They both look like they're going ass backwards into losses, and they're going about it in completely different ways. Where it's astonishing how they're not all worse overall than they are already.
Yeah,
and I don't know how to actually like pinpoint what the actual problem is because there's so many. But I think I have to. I don't believe in any of the coaches on both sides.
Trash.
I think I just believe less in Josh McDaniels because I just feel like he's going to just revert back to Denver Broncos McDaniels. And I wonder if he's just going to – it's just a matter of time of when are you going back to the Patriots? I think that's the countdown that I have in the back of my head. Like, when are you just going to go back to the Patriots and try to save Mac Jones? How is that going to work?
After this year, because he thinks Mac Jones is his Tom Brady. After this year.
Yeah, he's even more crazy than I thought then.
This message is brought to you by Square. Simply staff scheduled with Square appointments. Get started today. Sorry, we had a commercial.
No, you're good.
Who you picking?
I go in Chargers, but it's just like how many points are the Raiders going to score? I feel like the Chargers can get to 30. I feel like that's not a problem. But will the Raiders be able to make up that difference in their points scored? And I don't know if they can. And it's not like the Chargers have a really, really good defense. It's more of
And that's
just
why, yeah, they did.
it's more of
But
just like
Joey
how
Bosa is going to
inept
be
are the
scaring the
Raiders going
shit
to
out
be.
of Jimmy G. He doesn't like any type of pass rush. You do that point,
Yeah,
then you want to throw a long interception.
yeah, that's the thing. Like, are they gonna do something offensively where they can try to neutralize Bosa? If he's even playing. I gotta see. I don't know. I'm just trying to pull up all the injury reports on here, but that's like, are they gonna do enough to try to like get him off? And was
Pause.
questionable. Oh yeah, no, they. I meant to finish the thing where it said get him off his game, but I didn't. I stopped when I was looking. Shit. Yeah, because Bosa's questionable.
Nah. Let me.
Yeah, I gotta go Chargers.
You go Chargers?
I gotta go. Yeah, I gotta go Chargers. But I gotta take the under just because I don't know if the Raiders are gonna be able to score enough points. That's my only thing. I think that, and I'm not even sure if Garoppolo's gonna be playing.
I might be overthinking it and giving them a little bit more credit than they deserve because the Raiders are bad.
They're just straight boo boo, and I don't know if I can even get to them get into 15 points. Like two touchdowns. Right. 2 touchdowns is going to be a lot for them, and I could just see them getting worse and worse and worse. Because I mean, they scored like 30 their first couple games, and then I think they dropped down to like 16, or in the teen. I think it was like 15 or 14, 16 points. Their last game against the Cowboys. I don't know. No, they didn't. Yeah, no, 17, 10, and 18. So them getting to 2 touchdowns, it's going to be quite a stretch for them. So yeah, I gotta go Chargers.
Chargers. All right, bang bang Niners gang versus the Cardinals. Chuck said,
I know where you're going.
Cardinals money line and under. You rich? You're gonna be broke, Chuck. We average 30 points a game, and the Cardinals, yeah, you're gonna be broke. Don't do that to yourself, Chuck. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Like I'm not even gonna like mess around with it because it was at 43.5, and I was going over. Now it's at 44. Y'all thought I was going with the over. No, I'm going with the Cardinals with the points, but the 49ers are going to win. They're going to win. I just don't think they're going to beat the Cardinals by 14 points. It is a divisional game.
Mm-hmm.
And the 49ers struggle with mobile quarterbacks. That has been their historic struggle. That's why, they beat Daniel Jones in the Giants by 18 points, but the Cardinals, I think they have a better offense in that run game. But even though we're solid against the run, I think we're going to win, but not by more than 14 points. We win by more than 14 points. Listen, I'm with it.
Yeah, I think this is going to be.
I know. He's a hater. He's a hater. He's a hater, bro. That's why I'm going to be busy on the 22nd of October.
This is going to be a one possession game.
Get my hair done.
This is going to be a one possession game. But the 49ers are going to win this. The Cardinals have lost their game by what? I think when they lost a game by a field goal and the other one by 4 points, minus the win that they got against
and
Dallas.
That's why.
Yeah.
And that's why I chose them with the 14 points because they haven't get blown out. I mean, now if anyone's going to blow them out, it would be the 49ers. But it being a divisional game is that's what's giving me reservation is the divisional aspect of it. And the Cardinals play us tough. They've actually took one of 2 games last year, so they always play the 49ers tough. They've always historically played us tough. Kind of like the Texans kind of own the Jags for some odd reason.
Yeah.
The Cardinals kind of just be beating the 49ers. And I don't think they're going to win, but I think they're definitely going to be closer than 14.
Yeah, I gotta take the under, but I'm gonna take the 49ers to win. I hope that the Cardinals win because I need to ask Virginia to record this reaction because if this is a 425 game, if the Cardinals win, yeah, you might as well be just locked in that room for the rest of the night because your night ain't gonna get much better. But I'm gonna take the 49ers. I gotta take them. They're just gonna be a one possession game. It might be even less than a field goal to where they're gonna have to try to go ahead and score to get a lead, and the Cardinals just might fail at the end. I see that this is like one of those games.
Yeah, and we got remember it's a rookie coach versus an experienced coach, so those things matter. They really do. We got Patriots and the Cowboys.
Two America's teams, according to some people.
Yeah, both of America's teams. You know, they both got the 5-point star on there.
Mm-hmm.
Good old boys. Good old boys. Both those owners run the league, basically. Mm-hmm. Kraft and Jerry Jones, good old boys.
I guess it's just going to be. Are both of these quarterbacks just going to be another version of Kirk Cousins?
This was at there was giving the Patriots 7. Now they're only giving them 6.5. They know something that I know, because Belichick is very good at pass defense, and Dak Prescott is not good at pass offense. He just struggled with a Cardinals team. Now, I think they're going to beat the Patriots. But I think they're going to struggle with them because Belichick he's very good at pass defense. His team's pass defenses are very solid. That's why I like the over, but I like the over because I think Cowboys are going to put up more than 20. I think the Patriots are going to put up about 20, if not 17-ish or something like that. So it's still, I like them to put about 20. Yeah, I still like them about 20, 20, 27, 20, 26, 25, 24 to 20, something like that. What you think?
They got 68% of Dallas winning. Well, I got to give Dak Prescott this. I mean, I talk about his game a lot, but there is a couple of things about his game that I really like. One, he's good at identifying blitzes, and he's good at throwing into those voids that blitzes create. I think that I'm not sure if the Patriots are necessarily going to throw a lot of unique blitzes at him. They might just rely on their front.
Belichick zone blitz. So Belichick he has a new defense that he brought out this year. It's kind of like a 6-2 hybrid. So Dak ain't ready. He ain't even ready for basic concepts. And Mike McCarthy's offense is too vanilla for Belichick. And that's coaching matters. It really does.
The only way that you can actually beat them is if Dallas just controls the game by running the ball. That's going to be their main focus in trying to win this game. Other than
that under could be. The under could be. It could be close to that though. I mean, if it's over 44, it's not that far over 40.
Yeah, I have to take the under on this one, but who's going to win? I don't believe in any of these two quarterbacks that much. And I know one has way more experience than the other one, and one has a lot more playoff experience than the other ones. But still, I put Dak Prescott as just a more successful Kirk Cousins, and I'm not sure about how Mac Jones actually mentally will do with getting beat up a lot, because we've seen when stuff doesn't go his way, he starts to act out and starts to throw little tantrums and whatnot. But he is playing a lot better, which I guess is okay. But I don't see them winning this game. I think. And this pains me to say it more than it does with the Buccaneers pick. I kind of have to go with the Cowboys on this.
Yeah, it's trash to say.
I hate myself for it.
Yeah, I'm actually probably going to get off here and go take a shower in acid.
Yeah, I need to go brush
But
my teeth because that saying those
yeah,
words just make me feel like I just got
yeah,
to
it
brush
needs
my
like a
teeth.
film.
Yeah,
It's
I don't like
like
it.
when somebody does the nails on a chalkboard. Like,
I think I'd rather just pick the Patriots and just be wrong. But I want to try to be as right as possible, and I think I got to pick the
yeah,
Cowboys.
if I wasn't narcissistic, I would pick the Patriots.
Yeah.
But I like myself and I like to win, so I'm not narcissistic. I'm just full of myself. Big difference.
I don't know about the Patriots have like zero running game. And I think that is the thing that it
That's
makes everything
accurate.
so successful because you can run on the Cowboys. And if you can make exotic runs, and you already seen how successful that it was with the Cardinals did it, they have a plain vanilla running game and they don't have good backs. I think the Patriots should probably take a call if he's healthy. Give the Colts a call and see if they can probably want to give up what they're going to offer for Jonathan Taylor, because you have Ramondre Stevenson and you have Ezekiel Elliott. I'm saying it again. You have Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield. That ain't really gonna do much.
Cheaters, so they're gonna have all their hand signals. They also got Will Greer, the backup quarterback. Belichick is a cheater. People don't understand. This dude picked up Will Greer off their practice squad or whatever, just so he can get a run at some of McCarthy. But he doesn't need all that because McCarthy runs a vanilla offense with basic concepts.
I mean, remember, you know the phrase, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, right?
Yeah, that's true, but I just can't stand it. All right, so last two games, we got the Chiefs, Jets, Seahawks, Giants. Let's go with the Seahawks first game because that game is trash. Yeah, even though it's the last game, let's end with the Chiefs and the Jets game. Even though they're probably about the same as far as yeah. So the Giants and the Seahawks game, they pretty much got to pick them. That's basically a pick, more or less. Easy money, Seahawks in the under. I think I'm actually Chuck. You going Seahawks in the under? Chuck, I'm actually doing Seahawks in over because it was at 1.5, but it's at 1. It's still a pick, basically. Let's switch that up to, especially for a 1. Yeah, I'm going with the Seahawks. But I'm going with the over, Chuck, only because the Giants defense is trash. And the Seahawks actually have a pretty good offense, passing offense and running. What's his name? Kenneth Walker won me fantasy last week, and I was going up against Raheem Mostert and Tua. And I still won my fantasy because of Kenneth Walker putting up 29 points.
Jesus.
Dallas Cowboys didn't do me any good, though.
And they never will. They gave you 2 good games, and that's probably going to be it for the rest of the year until they play like the Giants again. Yeah, I'm glad he said that because I was trying to say that. Thank you, Chuck, for actually bringing that up. So I want to get a little bit medical about this, and people don't actually know. There's a lot of people who, especially those who, he's still dropping passes. But I want to talk about the ankle from Saquon Barkley, and a lot of people don't know this. When you sprain an ankle or strain an ankle, that muscle never actually fully recovers. It's not, you can tear a muscle or tear a ligament, and you can kind of get close to 100%. That muscle that you sprain is never actually going to be that's never going to work exactly how it did beforehand. It never happens. So what they actually have to do is strengthen everything around it. And people don't know that sprains are micro tears in that whatever muscle or ligament that is on there. The more sprains that you get, the more susceptible that you are to other injuries, like actually an Achilles tear, or you can actually break your ankle. So he has glass ankles as of right now, and it's not going to get any better. And especially with how big and how elusive that he is,
his legs are pretty big.
Is never going to be. Yeah, and you add in the ACL injury on top of that, he's never going to be exactly what.
So he's putting more pressure on his ankles because he's being ginger with his knee. and your body is, it's a whole unit, and that's kind of what happened with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers had that calf issue, so he kind of favored when he got tackled. He didn't want to land and kind of plant with his calf, so he kind of landed and kind of with his toe, but that was awkward. So he tried to put his calf down after the fact, and that popped his Achilles.
And we've seen that happen with a bunch of players, and not even just with football. It's, you go back to the Kevin Durant injury where he had the calf strain or whatever they labeled it as, and then his ACL popped. It was the same concern that they had with Joe Burrow this year. They had a calf problem, upper ankle problem, and he's not careful. He could have popped his Achilles too, and that would have been the second major career injury that he had.
Throwing the back, that's going to start doing his lower back. So it just
So people need to be more concerned when it comes to these little minute injuries, especially when it comes to these soft tissue injuries. It should be better if you just take the time out and trying to get that area strengthened up as much as you can. But as much as he's putting on himself, and I'm referring to Saquon Barkley, he's not going to be that same back. So whether he was in or out, he could probably be serviceable if he's playing. I don't know if he will be, but if he is, he could probably do something against the Seahawks run defense or be viable in the passing game, because I'm not sure of what their actual receivers are going to do within the rest of the year. So he's probably going to be their main weapon for the second time or the third time, or however many times that they had enough receivers or receivers have gotten hurt. But also, Daniel Jones is not that guy. You should have got rid of him. I don't know who you would have replaced him with. But
they gave him all that money, and
but they gave him a lot of phony money though, so they can get out of under it kind of quickly. It'll. That's
how most contracts are. It's almost like a 2-year, basically. Most contracts.
I think it's almost the way that I got to read back on it, because I was listening to what's his name, Mike Florio, talk about the contract. It's almost like they gave him a really, really wordy franchise tag, the way that he kind of the way they set it up. So after this year, they can get out under it. They're going to have a lot of dead cap money, but that dead cap, I think, won't be as drastic of a hit as a lot of people think that it would be, especially if they can find a potential trade partner to try to get some compensation back on it. I'll eat that contract to get rid of him. He might be good, but he's not going to be good in New York. He needs. I
don't think he's going to be good at all.
I don't think so either. But having him
Mitchell
somewhere
Trubisky.
else,
he's Eli Trubisky. That's what he is.
I think you can make a case that if you had the right coaching, I could take Mitchell Trubisky.
I actually would prefer Mitchell Trubisky over Daniel Jones, because Mitchell can throw it better. Daniel, can run a little bit better, but
yeah. I mean, they're both either good to decent athletes, and you can get them moving around, but getting them moving around is their strength, and they're not playing to his actual strength. And this is going to be the best time that you have to try to maximize anything. Last year got you your deal. This year is going to get you to stay, because they will move off you so quick to try to get somewhere else.
Yeah.
Or to get somebody else. But I got the Seahawks. This is going to be. It is. I think his dead cap hit is going to be around $25 million if they moved off him. It's somewhere in the mid to high 20s. It's still a big hit, but you can move off him.
They're just giving out money just to fire somebody. Here's your severance package.
Yeah,
$25 million.
I mean, they do it to coaches all the time. Why not do it for players too?
The money is
fire me and giving me $30 million. I'll gladly walk out the door. I'll skip out of that building if you can give me millions of dollars to not do my job. They did the same thing with I think Ben McAdoo. Same team too, where they kind of paid him to leave.
It's because they have a history of owners. Look at who these owners are. They hire the same types of people. That it's the good old boys club.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. It's like, hey, yeah, I see you, myself, and you, son. Right? They want their quarterbacks to be tall, white, and handsome. They want their coaches to be gritty, country boys with grit, like because the owners, that's who the owners are. So it's,
or who
I
they
mean,
wanted to be but couldn't.
Yeah, or they wanted to be living vicariously through these. These teams are nothing but toys to billionaires. That's all they are. It's just like their version of video games. It's like we buy Madden, they buy teams. Like that's basically what it is. We play video games, they play with franchises. They don't care as long as their money is coming back in those seats, because it doesn't matter if you don't fill all your seats. It doesn't matter because you get a piece of that TV revenue.
Yeah.
So the NFL is kind of like owning stock. You own a team, you just guaranteed to just have revenue coming in by the millions each year. You know what I mean? Close to billions, over whatever. But it's that's all it is. These guys don't really care about these teams and etc. You got a few owners that are that Jerry Jones is more involved than a lot of owners, but he sucks and he's more of a hindrance than anything. Like he got lucky once, he'll never win another ring because he's too much. He's too much of a control freak.
Yeah, and as he gets older, he's going to only want more control until he's actually debilitated and taken out. I wish they would have took. This is random, but I'm glad. I just wanted to just bring up another thing. I just wanted to talk shit about the Cowboys. I wish they would have took Johnny Manziel in that draft. It would have been just hilarious. If they would have took Johnny Manziel and not Zach Martin. I wish Steve Jones wasn't there to talk sense to him. I wanted them to pick Johnny Manziel so bad so I could just see that train wreck happen on the biggest
stage. Yeah. Absolutely.
You imagine how many primetime games they would have had if they would have drafted Johnny Manziel? That would have just been glorious.
But yeah, so with that, I think I already said it. Yeah, I'm going with the Seahawks.
Yeah, we're going to say Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm going over. I was shooting under for a little bit, but I think over just because both of their defenses are suspect, and I think they do both put up enough offense to warrant that. Last but not least, we got Chiefs in the. I mean, I already did.
I mean, do we have to?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have to, but it's just fun. So let's talk about how much Zach Wilson sucks.
Yeah. Zach Wilson. I knew that cover and the under 40. You going under? Okay, Chuck, I see you.
Under.
Why? Because the Jets aren't going to put up any points. That's why you're going under. I can see that.
That makes sense. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I can see that.
They might not be able to score 10 points.
They might not. I can see the under for that. I can see that, Chuck. I can see the under. You got me thinking because as I started thinking, I'm like, I think I might actually switch. I think you convinced me, Chuck. I think you convinced me. Go under.
There's also like the coaching turmoil that's happened because there's been those reports that saying that like the entire defense and even some of the receiving room is not happy with how Saleh's been supporting Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
But do you want him to tell everybody that I think he's garbage and
what is he supposed to do? Yeah, you gotta give the kid confidence because this isn't Madden. So people have to learn offenses. They got to learn playbooks. They got to learn, like, you have to at least pretend while you're out there looking. I mean,
we know he's lying. We know that he's that.
Yeah.
They need to.
Zach has no confidence, Chuck. Yeah. He has no confidence.
It's been shot already. He has to go to a new situation, a new team. It's over for him in New York. It's going to
dip. Yeah. Chris Jones is getting better. He's going to be back in football shape.
Yeah.
He does. He definitely looks good out there. He has no confidence, and that's why I think Saleh is trying to do that because you can see the locker room doesn't support him.
Yeah.
He looks scared out there. Only person that's really rooting for him is his coach, but the coach can tell. You can tell the coach didn't really believe in him because you don't go out and get Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, you saw that one interview, the interview that he did. He was trying to support him, and he couldn't actually formulate the sentence to say that Zach's our guy. He kept fumbling over the one sentence. He was like, "Well, Zach is going to be our quarterback, and that's all I can say." That didn't technically roll. You didn't give that statement out kind of coherently to anybody believes you. We all know that you're lying. We all know that he sucks. We all know that you're. That Colin Kaepernick letter kind of look a little good compared to what Zach Wilson could do. I would even try to consider that, even though he's been out of the league for years. I just don't know where you look.
I guess who they signed?
What, just now, or like to be the number 3?
The other, or it might have been today or yesterday.
They signed somebody. Who they signed?
Trevor Siemian.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You know how long Trevor Siemian hasn't played?
I would still start Trevor Siemian. He's had more success with other teams than Zach Wilson has ever had individually. I would still put Trevor Siemian.
Yeah, he hasn't played in years either, though. And I say that to say Trevor Siemian has never looked good. And
he's looked sad. He's looked okay. He can throw.
So
he can read defenses. He can read defenses, sort of, kind of better than Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson is a body. That's what he is. He's the 11th player on a football team. And they saw what he did at the combine, and they got hard off of that. They were like, "Oh, he made a cross body throw."
But the thing is, he's made these really, really tough throws, and he's made them look so easy. Like he made that one. I know it was in the preseason, but he had that one throw that was up, like against the sideline, where he actually placed it over the receiver, the defender's hands, where he made the perfect throw with the perfect catch. And he actually redid that combine throw live in a game. And you're just like, you're not supposed to be able to make that throw. But why can't you check the ball down? Why can't you throw it in the vacated zone in the flat?
And be consistent?
Why can't you do these minimal things as much as you want to do, like the over-the-top thing?
He ain't studying. He ain't putting the work in. So he's trying to do like the rest of these guys have been doing all their life, rely on athletic ability, because all their lives they've been told, "Oh, you're so good. You're so talented."
He doesn't have that lot of athletic ability to begin with. He came from a conference that had no defense in Mormontown, Utah.
Yeah,
he could not run an offense. He does not know what defenses are trying to do. You remember that game where the Patriots played the Jets, and Sam Darnold was saying like he's out there seeing ghosts.
Yeah.
I don't know what Zach Wilson's seeing. Yeah, I just know that if he was seeing a ghost means something in football. You're seeing something that they're trying to tell you that is there, that it's not there.
Yeah.
What is he actually looking at? What is going through his head when he is actually making
I don't think
decisions?
he is. I think he's just throwing the ball. I think he's literally throwing the ball to spots. That's what it looked like he's doing. He's throwing it to spots, which and it's funny because they teach you to do that in like lower leagues, because when people don't know how to read defenses or pay attention to plays or don't know anything about football, they tell you to throw it to a spot. So that's what I think he's doing. He's throwing it to spots because he just ain't getting it. And yeah, like Chuck's saying, he's small. Can't see over line about it. I mean, not everybody can be Drew Brees. That's what people fail to realize. Like there was only one Drew Brees. Like that, simple as that. Like quarterbacks under 6'1" just do not flourish. You can't see. It's hard to see down the field when you got a 6'3" wall in front of you.
In your face. Well, he's 6'2", so he's not like the smallest.
Oh, okay, I thought he was a little bit smaller.
Yeah, I had to just go and look it up. I was like, I think he's a little taller than most people would actually say. So he's 6'2" and listed at 214. So he's not small by standards. I think he's actually the same size as Vic, to be honest with you.
But Vic had to roll out of the pocket.
Yeah, that's the other thing, and I think that would be his most successful thing. I think they need to go more of like the Cam Newton RG3. That's a white 6'2". That's a
Chuck is stupid. I feel you, Chuck. Yeah,
they need to get him moving. They need to,
yeah.
but the thing is, they need to get his confidence back. They need to start doing these one side of the field easy reads. They need to run trips. They can run stacked. They can have put plays where you're gonna have like people running out in space. Run the ball more. You have that thing.
Yeah,
you only had
was sick about that.
Yeah,
Like,
you only give him 14 total run attempts in a game. That's not going to be successful when you're having your quarterback try to do majority of the work, and you already shown that you don't believe in him. But the and I don't know if he watched First Things First. I started watching it more, but I don't watch it as much because I think that Nick Wright is just like auditorily annoying. But he did have a good point to where like the front office did screw this up. They put all their eggs in one basket thinking that Aaron Rodgers was going to be there the entire year. But then they kept, Zach Wilson, which I guess that was going to be the right decision, and thinking that he was going to be on the bench the entire year. Mm-hmm. But their third string quarterback was a person that, and I had to look this up because I remember seeing this stat on Instagram one time, that dude named Tim Boyle in college, FBS level Division I, had 1 touchdown and 13 interceptions.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't see where in the scouting department is that good, because they'll say, "Oh, but we can throw it 70 yards." And
it was Rodgers. They got all of the people that he wanted. They got Allen Lazard. They got Randall Cobb. Yeah, look it up. Tim Boyle, 1 touchdown, 13 interceptions in Division I. Like, why would you want Randall Cobb? Why would you want Randall Cobb back on your team? He's been done for years. You got Allen Lazard, which he's a number 2 receiver. He's not a number. He's a good number 2 receiver. I know Garrett Wilson was going to be your number 1. But you still, and Mecole Hardman still can't get on the field consistently. He stays hurt, and I don't know what's going on with him, but he's now consistently hurt.
Yeah.
And you got Nat Hackett. I'm not sure if he's even a good offensive coordinator as of just yet. You let one individual, and I get that he should have say in the offense he should have say in the offense. You want an established quarterback to have some say because you would want him to be part of the team. And he's done a lot of team-friendly things, especially with giving back $30-something million back to the team that they're going to have to pay to him probably later on and might regret that decision. But still, you fumbled this so bad from an organizational perspective. And it's not like they've done that much better within the past, but you don't have a competent quarterback anymore that you can say, like, even though stuff isn't going well, I feel like I can get it out of it. He's saying, though, look at him on the field. He looks like he's saying, this is over with. I'm over with. I'm done. I'm shot. I just want to get through the rest of the season so we can just figure out what we're going to do next year. If I'm even going to be here. He has that aura around him, and the team doesn't want him either. And I'm not sure if any other team would want him even as a backup.
Yeah, I agree with that. Word life. Well, week 1, how you feeling? You feeling good about these picks? Feeling good? You confident?
I mean, I got to see who's going to be injured because I don't want another Trayvon Diggs.
That's why it's hard on Wednesdays. Yeah, Wednesdays are hard. Sometimes I'll put a little amendment. I put an amendment. I have an app. I don't pick on my app until the day of. Yeah. Sometimes it changes. Sometimes it doesn't, depending. But yeah, so for the most part, I'm sticking with what we got. Unless something drastic, like you stated, changes, but I doubt anything drastic is going to change. But yeah. As to this week's professional sports fan talk, we professional fans. Cam Bam, Chan Man, Geechee Chan, Long Gas, Reach Van, you know what I'm saying, and all that. Jazz, hip hop, R&B, soul music. People on I'm gonna let the secret out. They don't know this about you, but under that hat, Cam actually has dreadlocks. They go down to his ankles.
I don't. I got hair that's nappy underneath there. Well, no, I picked it out, so I'm good now. It's just I like to keep this thing on the entire time. My hair don't see sun no more.
He's a practicing a Rastafarian. He just moved to Ocho Rios, Jamaica, about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, someone at Walmart was just like, he was like, "Are you Rasta?" I'm like, "No." But then this other random white guy came over, was like, "I like your yarmulke." I was like, oh, "Okay."
You're so Jamaican. I like your Jewish cat.
Yeah, I was like, "All right."
I know that's right. As always, Chuck, appreciate you guys. This is Geech speaking for the man Cam. Until next time, we got professional sports, professional. We're professionals. You gotta pay me
next time.
Yeah, I'm paying you. I'm definitely paying you. Matter of fact,